Welcome to the Become Sensible podcast, where we discuss practical accounting, finance, and tax for everyday business. I'm your host, Fiona, and I'm here to show you that no matter what your business financial situation is, you can change it. Good morning. Welcome to Become Sensible. My name is Fiona. I am excited to share with you this topic today that I think very hard and many business owners are doing. That is how to set your business financial plan for Q4. This is the last quarter of the year. There will be like some of the people will say like, I will make this the best quarter of the year. There will be people say like, I already achieved a significant thing during the year. Now I just want to close out the year in a high note. Whatever the situation that you are in, I know that this will be an exciting time for the business owners, and I want to be a part of helping you to set up your business financial goal. Let's dive in and talk about the step how to do it. And today episode, we only have 4 steps and 1 bonus remind. That is easy for you to follow. So step number 1 is called financial reflection. First thing first, historical data always give you so much of information whether you want to take a look into it or not. But that is one of the best way to know like where are things at in your business. So this is not criticize yourself about like you not achieve the goal, or is this like back in your back because you win something big. This is the way that you assess your situation and where you are at. So there's a couple questions that you can ask. Like number 1, what is and how your overall financial performance for the last 9 years compared with your forecasting at the beginning of the year? Number 2, where was your biggest financial win during the last 9 months? And where is the most significant challenge that you face? There's so many things that we as the business owner, we don't understand and we don't know all the things that we need to do when we run the business. So there's certainly failing is like a part of our business journeys. Even you want to accept it or not, failing is a part of it. The guy who was the founder of Gymshark, and in the interview, the interviewers asked him whether like the person that makes wrong decision that fail in social media for his company, was that person still work for the company at all? So he said like, of course he's still working there because they learn vital, important lessons. So he doesn't want to remove all the people who fail. So then the company just left over for everyone who never know how to fail and never learn the lessons. So in that mantra and mindset, I think it's very important for you to like look at in the lunch that you have failed, the hiring that you failed, the operation that you failed, the customer that complains. You look at in all of these things to give you the assessment. Where's your weakness in the business? Where's the thing that's not working? And what is the thing that we can target to in moving to forward? In terms of financial data, you also can look into like the historical data, normally lacking indicators. This will help you to make the decision to move forward in the new quarter, the last quarter. It's not like 100%, but it gives you the indicators where things are. Some of historical data you can use is what is your profit margins, what's your team performance, what's your conversion rate, what is your client retention rate, what was your bad offerings, and what was your failed launch of products and where things are. So that's help you to like a summary, like a page of like where things are. And I know because the economy changes, the market changes, and the customer behavior changes constantly. And I mean, the change is a part of the business, and those things we can't control. But when we look in these data and information, like assessment where we are at, sometimes it's very hard to look at and a hard lesson to learn. But that is part of business. So now we're moving to the step 2, setting your Q4 financial goal. So after reflect, now we move forward with setting goal. And remember, these goal, when you set, it need to be like tractable and achievable. Like one of the things in science of setting goal, people always say like set the doable but also challenging goal. Because if everything is feasible and doable, there's no challenging, there's no motivation and exciting for you to move forward because you think that you would get it. For example, if last quarters you get like $500,000 in revenue, the next quarter, if you set the same $500,000 in revenue, that is like feasible, doable, unless they're like a seasonal fact in your business situation, but that is not something like very exciting to move forward. So maybe like a 10%, a 15%, a 20% higher than last quarter. That may be like feasible, doable, and also like have a challenge and exciting factor with it. Like in terms of like expense management, where's the areas that you want to cut the expense? Small business owners always need to make sure that you watch operating expense very well because your budget is small. There's so many things that can screw up your expense situation very fast. But then I always want to remind any business doing well again and again, have a revenue grow and have a new customer clients. One of the things that I know they always do is they set aside a percentage into the research or like develop new product or service or research the market. So they bring in the new product and offerings that tailors to the future markets because they're always changing and trend that's happening in the markets. And so if you don't have a research and develop the new product and solution, in long term, you face the challenge to meet the revenue goal because every product or service will reach a maturity state. And in that state, you need to have a new product and service to come in and have to like capture the new segment on the market because the one that you haven't been doing well will be mature and it reaches the peak point. So that is what it is like. Make sure you always have. And when you launch new product, don't withdraw the old product out to the markets always. Layers your products and service in the way that you always have at a certain like evergreen product and is always like fill up. And then the new one coming in like maybe like 10%, 15% up your revenue, like total company revenue, because it's need the time to penetrate into the market too. So that is called number 3 is called like product and offering strategy that look at into it and make sure that you actually have a strategy with it. And number 3 is cash flow. What's your target for improving cash flow in Q4? And number 4 is your profitability. Can you set a specific net profit margin goal for the quarter? Maybe that 10%, 15%, 20%. What is you have done for year to date and what you think that you want to target in the new quarter? Finally, debt reduction. If you have a business debt, do you want to reduce the debt? So one of the things is in the episode about cash flows, you remember that cash flow is the net cash equal the cash inflow minus the cash outflow. So if you want to pay debt, you will need to take some of the money from the net cash from operating cash flow to take it and put it and pay it out into finance situation that is debt. And so make sure that your cash inflow will be higher than cash outflow. That's depends a lot in revenue, in cash collection, and how you like tie on into like expense management. So that is in the cash flow episode, but I just want to remind you in that. And every goal you set for need to have a list of the thing, the to do. That's how you achieve it. For instance, you want to increase your revenue 15% in Q4. Do you have a new product or service launch in this quarters? What is the campaign and the prepare for the launch? How is your marketing? How is your operation? How everything that back up that launch will help you to successful that 15% revenue increase in the quarters. So it's all tied together. So your business normally can divide into two parts. In the front end, that is your brand, your community, your product and service. And then the back end is like delivery, operational, your finance team, your customer service, your HR. Depends on how you divide it. But once you set the goal, these parts need to move together. What is like if you launch a new product, what is your marketing strategy? What is content? What's your brand? What's your community? What is the delivery team will do? It moves together in one set of the goal. And of course, there's no way that everything will meet in like 100%. Now, for example, you say like the goal is to achieve. That is why once you have the whole overall company goal, business goal, you need to go break it into the each project that you will take in this quarter. Like for example, if you launch that new product, how much that new product service will play in the entire company revenue and cash flow and profit goal. How much it will the percentage is, for example, if you say like $500,000 is your revenue of this quarter, then how much is that lunch will play the percentage compared to the overall the quarter, and how every single part of your business will need to support for that to move forward. Step 3, we talk about change identity for the new goal. And I know this a little bit abstract and a little bit like less logical than everything we have been setting over here. But I want to bring it over in this conversation because I think it will help you achieve your new goal. So when you set a goal, there's like a couple different came of setting goal. And one of them is people call 25% goal. It means that if you have a goal is like $1 million in revenue for this quarter, people will divide it in half, let's say 500,000, and then they divide one more time, it will be 250,000. So that 250,000 is something that people say that is feasible and doable. But of course, there will be another camp that people always want to get unrealistic goal, set and achieve unrealistic goal. Because there are people out there on the markets that would have the first launch in $1 million there, the first time they reach $10 million in revenue. And there's something that they do that is not that they haven't never done before, and the first time they achieve it. So there are people that actually setting unrealistic goal and achieve it. So if you in this camp want to like setting a unrealistic goal and achieve the goal, there's the part of it need to be changing your identity to become a new person that actually can do that. And you will see online many people talk about changing identity as basically you list out the action that new person will do. For example, if you admire someone or you have someone that you want to become like them. For example, like Sarah Blakely is the person that who found Spanx and then she found new companies in this recently. And she's so cool and empowering and successful. And you want to become someone like her. Many people would do is list out all the things that she does, like CFI, you need to do, as she shared, you need to do like the time that empties mind, that you can like wander in your mind, or like usually change the mindset. Doing the thing that she does not could be like change your identity. Like on social media right now, many people talk about winter arch. That just mean like the last 3 months of the year, the winter, you lock in and you do all the things that you need to do, like focus, go to the gym, eat healthy, exercise, cut back the time on device, all these things. But that is all actionable. But in real life, you know that. And in business too, in real life, in business too, anything that we list out and plan to do, that is just on the paper. When we do this, many things will happen, like your kid's sick, your staff cannot go to work today. Many different things will not happen at all. And so you will play, you normally quit at that time when things get challenging. And you're not going to be like sustainable to become that identity and take all that action because it's not enough for you to just like motivate to become that person and take the action like that person. So one of the things that when I research for strategy for this quarters, I learned one thing. And I think it's like change entire perception and the way that I think about like how we change our identity. So this person from one of the podcasts, he said this. He said, you're not be changing your identity sustainable in long term unless you understand the drive and the emotion attached to that drive from that person. So for example, if you give the example of Sarah Blakely, you want to become like her. You need to understand her drive and what is the emotion that attacks with that drive that keep her going on and keep her doing it again and again and again. And once you understand that, you change your identity forever. But the thing is, it's very hard for us to actually understand her identity, understand her drive and her emotion that attached with this drive and the event that happened in her life. So that would be very challenging for you to become her. First thing, there's no way that we will replicate like hers at all. But the second thing is because we don't have this information, and so the action itself is not coherence to actually move you, especially when you have a hard time. And that is why your drive, your emotion, my drive, my emotion, the event that make me to have a narrative, a drive, and the emotion attacks with that, totally different. And so yours is your, mine is mine, and Sarah is Sarah. And that is why it's very hard to duplicate these things. But then what can we do? So if you want to change these into the new identity, besides listing down all of these actions, assessing yourself, what is the drive that drive you to do these things? What type of the emotion attacks to this event and this drive? And once you actually know that, you will feel the coherence between your drive, your emotion, and your action. And that will help you to change your identity to a new identity, whatever that identity that you want to have. That is how it go. And I know it's just a little bit too abstract and philosophy than logical that the way that we talk over here. But I think you could not deeply change who you are in terms of identity unless you do this. And it's actually based on science. It's not like because I created or like spiritual talking about it at all. Step number 4, talk about financial habit tracking. Anything that we do, we set the goal for, we need to actually have a system, something to track is how we progression. What is the action that measure into the daily? Nothing will happen unless you do it daily or unless you finish this on every week. That is how things will move forward. So you need to make sure that, okay, track it down. What is the thing in overall picture of the quarter in every single month, and what is the action that drive and move things forward every single day and every single week, and track it. And you see, like the whole process of setting goal is starting with historical data, what had happened, and then go to the motivation, your drive, your emotion, and then go to the strategy that you list out all of these action. And all of these, to this step, everything is just on the paper. And that is why I say to you this, like anytime, even I do planning and strategy every single month, every single quarter and year. So I do this so many times. But every time I do this, I have answers and angst and anxiety go with it. Because everything now is just on the paper. You don't actually have a control, or you don't actually know how it's play out when you actually doing it. I read a business review on the strategy, and the professor actually said strategy always creates you a little bit anxiety go with it because there's unknowing part of it. And this is why this step, the step 4 in tracking. Tracking is help you to collect the real-time data based on the strategy that you have for, and that is help you to adjust your strategy and your plan. There's nothing permanent in terms of like the plan and the strategy yet, because we try the best from historical, from ourselves, from the company to put in the new strategy. But of course, the way that the markets and everything changes on the markets is real time. And I also want to emphasize on this part because sometimes I see some business owner that once you have a strategy and you launch it and you do it and it's not doing well, they feel disappointed and they quit. But the thing is, there is no guarantee 100% your strategy will work fine when you launch it at all. And that is statistically true. That is not going to happen that way. So failure and adjust and reassess and change your strategy is the part of the process of doing this thing. And so don't actually quit when things not going well because it's just a part of the data that you collect. But if you do this again and again, the more data help you to make like better the strategy, better decision, move forward. And here's some couple examples that how from the big one apply the goal that you can break it down into action. So for example, if you say you need to change your cash flow situation, you need to increase your cash flow situation positive, one of the action that you need to do is set up a reminder in your calendars every single week, need to review account receivable or like billing and remind any outstanding account receivable. That is the action that you need to do every single week. If you want to have like expense management, then set the habit to review all your expense over a certain time, like every single week, so that you understand what is going on in terms of your expense side. If you want to boost the revenue, you can make the action like how many call that sales call that you have, or how much is your conversion rate. In terms if you use this in organic marketing like online, how is your conversion rate? How many people that you reach? So this is like the way that you track it every single week. You know where is the thing moving forwards, and if there is anything that you need to do to change it. And you can use by spreadsheets, use software to tracking all this movement, but make sure that you always track it. And finally, let's talk about the bonus. And this is like step number 5, but it's actually a bonus. That is how you communicate your business goal for this quarter to your team. If you have a team, if you have only yourself, you need to communicate with anyone, but make sure that it is on your records to move forward and tracking it. But if you have a team, how you share with your team about the challenges you face and how to rapidly explain for them the situation, especially like small team and startup environment. There's so many things that you need to let your team understand because they thought like the business is doing very well, or they say like, oh, the business doing so well. So give them some perspective that help them to motivate their action aligned with the company goal and direction, and encourage them like give you the feedback, because sometimes like if in any way that the work that you do don't meet the customer or the client every single day. So if the people that who on customer service, client management, on the delivery team, they will give you like the real-time feedback on how the thing that you try to do and the feedback from the markets. And that is super helpful because a company is a group of the people who move forward in the same direction, the same goal. And everyone depends on the position they are in, have the perspective and the way the contribution for the overall result. So that's all for today. And to wrap up, I want to emphasize that Q4 plannings, sometimes people always think that I either get it or I'm not getting it. Like the mindset of black and white, do or don't. sometimes it doesn't like helpful in the business at all, but I think it put the foundation for your business moving forward into the new year too. Like by taking the time to reflect, to set a new goal, to change your identity, the way that you think and you thought, and your motivation to go to a new goal, and establish a strong financial habit that you lay the foundation strong for your company moving forward. And I mean, like, we're not coming into the business for 1 year. We're not coming, stay in the business for 2 years. But the ability to build layer by layers in your business is very important because that is the foundation to do successful business long term. And people would say, to help you to put in the perspective, a successful brand normally takes 8 years. And so I hope that this information that help you to have a great Q4 closing and also help you to have a very strong foundation to move forward into the new year. And thank you so much for your time today. And let me know if you have any question. I cannot wait to see you in the next episode.